To master OCR A-level sociological research methods, you must understand the four core concepts: validity, reliability, representativeness, and generalizability, the two main theoretical perspectives, positivism and interpretivism, and how to evaluate methods practically, ethically, and theoretically. So here is a complete breakdown of everything that you need to know. 1. The four key concepts. Validity. Does the research provide an accurate, genuine, and truthful picture of reality? Reliability. Can the study be repeated by someone else to get the exact same results? Representativeness. Does the group studied accurately reflect the wider target population? And generalizability. Can the findings from the study be applied to the wider population? 2. Theoretical perspectives. First of all, you have positivists. They prefer quantitative methods, for example surveys and official statistics, to uncover social facts, trends, and cause and effect relationships. They value reliability and representativeness. And then you have interpretivists. Don't confuse them with interactionalists, because I do, and they're very much not. They are interpretivists. And they prefer qualitative methods, for example unstructured interviews and participant observations, to understand human behaviour, meanings, and motives. They highly value validity. And 3. Now we're talking about practical, ethical, and theoretical factors, also known as PET. Sociologists must consider these 3 areas when choosing methods. The first one being practical issues. This consists of time and cost, subject matter, and gatekeeping. Time and cost. Longitudinal studies and large surveys require significant funding and time. Subject matter. Some topics are too sensitive to research using traditional face-to-face methods. And gatekeeping. Difficulty gaining access to certain groups, for example gangs or schools. Sociologists also have to consider ethical issues. This consists of informed consent, deception, and confidentiality and protection. Informed consent. Participant must agree to take part and understand the research. Deception. Deception. Researchers must not mislead participants. Confidentiality and protection, which ensures participants are protected from harm and their identities remain private. And finally, theoretical issues. How a researcher's worldview, for example, being a Marxist, feminist, or positivist, shapes their choice of methods. 4. Primary data collection. Primary data is data you collect for yourself for a specific research purpose. Now this, my friend, consists of questionnaires, interviews, observations, and experiments. Questionnaires can be postal, which are cheap but there's a low response rate, or can be structured interviews, which has a high response rate. Interviews, which can be structured, which are reliable and provide quantitative data. And then you also have semi-structured and unstructured, which are valid and flexible. Observations can be overt, where the participant knows they are being watched, and can also be covert, where the researcher hides their identity. These can both be participant or non-participant. Finally, for this section, experiments. Laboratory experiments, which are highly reliable. Why did I say reliable like that? Which are highly reliable but low ecological validity. And field experiments. 5. Secondary data and content analysis. Secondary data is data that has already been collected by someone else. Secondary data can come from official statistics. This is hard numerical data from the government, for example, census and crime rates. This can be useful for trends, but can be politically manipulated. And then there's documents, which consist of historical documents, diaries, or letters. And finally, content analysis. This is a systematic method for quantifying and measuring the content of media, for example, counting how many times women are portrayed in stereotypical roles. 6. The research process. Now, I'm going to say this all really quick, so you better pay attention. Topic selection. What is the aim or hypothesis? Operationalization. Turning abstract concepts into measurable ones. Pilot study. A small-scale trial run to spot flaws in the design. Sampling. Choosing the subset of the population to study. There's a bunch of techniques for this, though, which include random, stratified, snowball, and quota sampling. 7. Method in context. Education and social inequalities. Now, the OCR exam board heavily tests your ability to apply methods to real-world social contexts, so you must be able to justify how and why specific methods work for different groups. For example, researching students and schools. Consider the power dynamics between teachers and pupils, the peer pressure of school subcultures, and the strict legal requirements for safeguarding and gatekeeping, for example, needing parental consent. Another example is researching social inequalities. You have to consider how to measure class, gender, and ethnic differences without bias. I just yapped for ages there, and my god do I need water. So hopefully that was helpful for you, because it was helpful for me.